Welcome to a wet and windy Bransdhatch for the final round of the 2017 BRSCC Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship. Now the Boxster class has already been settled in favour of Ed Hayes, but the 924 class is up for grabs and we have 3 drivers that could possibly win the championship this weekend. Pip, leading the championship, this should be plain sailing for you, but the weather is throwing everything at you. It's not done yet, it's nearly there.
I think sailing's the right word. It's come just at the right time for me and Jamie. We were hoping for a bit of rain. We do like it when it's wet like this, so hopefully it'll be a fun race.
And it's as easy as that. You're not at all fazed by the championship on the line?
It doesn't pay to be fazed about it. We'll worry about that tonight.
Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
And second place in the championship going into the final 2 rounds. Gavin, this is going to take a miracle, but in motorsport anything's possible. You can still win this championship.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Pip's beatable when he crashes into walls. So let's see if he does that today. But yeah, I got my first win, and at Rockingham, I'm on the pace. It was a bad qualifying, but yeah, I'm confident for the race. Looking forward to it.
I was about to say you've got some changeable conditions, but as I was about to say that, the rain has really come down heavy, so it's going to be full wet. Does that suit you?
Yeah, I think it does. We've softened the car up, and we made the assessment it'd be wet. So yeah, we'll give it everything. I've got Ryan Lowry to think about as well, but last chance saloon with Pip. So yeah, we'll give it everything the race.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Ryan, third place going into this, the most unlikely of person to walk away with the championship this weekend, but stranger things have happened.
You never know, you never know. I wouldn't be here otherwise, so let's just see, hey?
As you've lined up, the weather has really come down. You've got an absolutely full wet circuit. Is that going to play in your favour?
Not particularly, but you never know. Anything can happen, like we say.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So it's Bransdhatch and it's a little bit wet. What a way to end the season. It's Coleman on pole position from Ed Hayes with Adam Southgate and Gary Lawrence on the second row. Then it is Richard Avery and Nick Hull from Alex Stocker and Andrew Porter. Kevin Molyneux and Angus Archer on row 5 from Fitzpatrick and Goodwin. In the 924s, Hammond and Callender are on the front row from Lowry and Waters. Gavin Johnson and David Jones. Richard Matthews and Stephen Potts. Carl Rossin down in 7th alongside John Jeffrey, with Chris Jones, Hugh Burt and Andrew Pritchard rounding out the 924 class. Andrew Baker and Matthew Harris take up their customary position in the production Boxsters on the back of the grid. But it's wet and the 924s will have plenty of grip here to match the Boxsters. We've got several onboard cameras up and down the grid. The red lights are on. This is the last weekend of the year. Let's crown a 924 champion and let's race at Bransdhatch. Good start from Southgate, but he boxed out with wheel spin. Coleman's trying to come alongside Hayes. Hayes for once has got a cracking getaway as the field flies off the Brabham Straight and down towards Paddock Hill Bend. We're on board with Goodwin as he tucks in behind Fitzpatrick. Look at the 924s coming through. Ryan Lowry's up the inside, and I think Jamie Callender got through there as well. And look at the water absolutely howling in the camera lens there as that's Southgate in behind. In third position, Hull and Lawrence, Avery, Stocker. We're on board with Jamie Callender into Druids, and we're right in the thick of it. Several onboard cameras from Jamie Callender, one on the nose, one in the cockpit, and one on the back door to look back behind us. Then there's absolutely no peripheral vision. Look at the spray. It's blinding everybody. Pip Hammond there in front of the 70. That's Angus Archer in the Boxster class. So Hammond again proving that the 924 has great grip in the wet. The leading 3 have broken clear. Hayes, Coleman and Southgate. Lawrence is 4th. Hull is in 5th. I think we've still got Avery and Stocker behind them. Yes, indeed. Then it's Dolly Molly himself. Kevin Molyneux in the 4. Still lots of Dolly Parton dance moves out of the final turn. That's Hull going sideways. Goodness me. The back end kicked out and he just managed to get away with that. But I think Avery might get a run on him on the way down the straight. Absolutely incredible. There's Hammond looking good for the championship. And that's Jamie Callender going wheel to wheel with Ryan Lowry in behind Angus Archer. Absolutely amazing stuff as they battle the position. Jamie Callender looks like a completely different racing driver to what we've seen from him all season. It's amazing what happens when the car is working. Up the hill, and Jamie Callender doing a great job up Halewood as he goes up towards Druids. Tucking in there behind. Is that Angus Archer? I think that might be 133 Porter actually as they go through. Jamie Callender, no, I was right the first time. It is Angus Archer, and he's trying to go around the outside down to Graham Hill Bend. Really, Jamie? Do you want to try that one? That's a big, brave move if he's going to pull it off, but he doesn't. But the 924 does have plenty of grip. And that's Lawrence going off on the far side. I just saw Lawrence going off on the grass onto the right-hand side of the circuit there as he came out of Graham Hill Bend. So look, there he is. He's dropped back in there with David Jones. So problems for Gary Lawrence as he slips back down the order. Oh dear, it's not easy in these conditions, and he's struggling for grip as he went off the circuit there at Graham Hill Bend, rejoins and is now back on the road, but now having lost an awful lot of time. So that will give Nick Hull 4th position for the moment. But the speed is definitely intensifying from everybody. Now look, Jamie Calendar's got past Angus Archer, and Ryan Lowry's going to do the same move. 924s are not the slowest class today. Up the inside, they're right in the thick of it. Absolutely brilliant stuff as Jamie Calendar is finally able to show us what he can actually do when the car is working well. That's Pip Hammond up the road. On board with Adam Southgate in 3rd position as he chases down our 2 leaders. Well, he's in there amongst the back markers. We've got yellow flags. I think we might be about to go under safety car conditions. It's because we've got somebody off at Paddock Hill Bend. It's one of the 924s. That's David Jones. David Jones is off at Paddock Hill Bend there. And I think that's got to warrant a safety car. He's in a dangerous position. We've got wet weather conditions. On board with Jamie Calendar as he passes the scene of the accident. And I'm afraid to say that is going to tighten up the field surely. We're on board with Pip Hammond, doing an absolutely cracking job as the leaders have already gone through the back markers pretty quickly in these wet conditions. Hammond is still on the lead lap, and there is the safety car to the right. There it is, we're passing it now. Pip Hammond acknowledges it. We're under safety car conditions. Right, that's going to be tricky. So it's going to be Hayes, Coleman, Southgate, and then I think we've got Avery, Stocker and Hull is the order further back. So it is very tight and very tricky, but this man, Pip Hammond, right in there in the midst of the top 10, or certainly looking like he's going to be there anyway, in amongst the boxers and having a great time in the wet, is on the verge, as we ride on board with Gary Goodwin behind him, is on the verge of wrapping up the 924 Championship. It was a heart-stopping moment when he ended up in the barriers at Rockingham a few weeks ago with his car in tatters, but the work that he and the PDC racing team have done to put that car together and have it race-worthy for a championship finale has been absolutely amazing. As you can see, we're under safety car conditions. There's Adam Southgate in 3rd. Looking at Jamie Calendar, that's Philip Waters behind him in the 15, then Southgate behind him on the road. These guys are being lapped by the leaders already. That shows you how much time we've covered, and I can tell you as well, having already lost David Jones, we've also, I'm afraid to say, sadly lost the 70 of Angus Archer. He is out of the race as well. So I'm afraid there are problems everywhere you look pretty much. But under safety car, we can see that the snatch crews there, the Orange Army, are removing the wreckage of David Jones's car. Not that it's in a wreck, actually, it's just beached in the gravel, but well done to the Orange Army. The British Marshals doing an absolutely fantastic job, and they don't get enough credit, in my opinion. Absolutely amazing. I can guarantee that you'll have a great day if you decide to become a Marshal. They're doing an amazing job, as they have done all season long, wherever we've gone in the Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship. It's great to see them doing such a great job to keep us safe. And as you can see, they've moved David Jones's car a long way into the Paddock Hill Bend gravel trap now, so we will be able to go racing again very soon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, around the circuit. Great to see the Marshals doing an absolutely amazing job. And if you want to get into marshalling, it's a very quick and decent way of volunteering to get into motorsport. Marshals.co.uk, or contact the British Racing and Sports Car Club. They'll set you up with the right people to get in touch with. There are some incredible people that have marshalled and stewarded and officiated for the BRSCC, including a great friend of ours who we recently lost, the late, great Tom Dooley, who sadly passed away recently. We're great fans of him in the British Racing Sports Car Club, and he served the club very, very well for the last 4 decades. And it's in remembrance of him we're racing this weekend. Now, the safety car has come back in, and it looks to me as though Ed Hayes and James Coleman are going to push on again. Here we go, and James Coleman's got a much better start than Ed Hayes wanted him to. Look, he's going to draw alongside. He won't overtake him until they get to the line. They've got to the line. Now he can throw it up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. That's textbook. Can he hold it on the inside? Is there enough grip even with the rain? Yes, there is. So James Coleman gets through. That takes the lead from Ed Hayes. We watch on board from Southgate. Oh, Coleman kicks out the back, and Ed Hayes is going to get back up the inside into Druids on the exit of Hayward Hill. They're both sliding through the inside of the apex. And that's Hayes through. Absolutely terrific stuff. So Coleman has to settle for 2nd position again for the moment. He has a look into Graham Hill Bend as they come back onto the Cooper Straight. But at the moment, the battle is joined between them, and either of these guys could win. But if they hit each other, then this man, Adam Southgate, is there in third position to pick up the pieces. And as you can see, the rain is still falling. He's out of their draft, so he's not picking up the spray from the two leaders, but there's still water falling on his windshield. So we are still very slippery and greasy out there because the rain is still falling. James Coleman out the back of Ed Hayes, and this is tricky because we've got sun and rain simultaneously, so the sunshine is going to basically cause a mad reflection on the circuit as the sun's rays bounce off the water on the main circuit, causing a blinding effect. Oh, Hayes has run deep. Coleman's going to try and get through on the inside. No, you don't. Ed Hayes shuts the door. What a battle. It's amazing what James Coleman has done in the second half of the season. I just can't wait to see him in this fighting mode in 2018, hopefully in what will be a full-scale campaign. Oh no, he's lost the back end! What a save! What a save from James Coleman. I remember Nigel Mansell doing that in British touring cars in 1998 in exactly the same place. Lost the car and went straight into the barriers. I thought Coleman would do the same, but James Coleman clearly had his wits about him there. Now, this is Pip Hammond lapping, I think that is lapping, one of the 924s that he's up against. I think that's Hugh Pert, is it, that he's just lapped there? Absolutely incredible. But Pip Hammond is on the road to victory in the championship here in the 924s. He has done an absolutely amazing job all season. And what an absolutely sensational year it has been. He is so close to it. He just needs to keep going. Never mind the embarrassment of Rockingham. He is now on the march to win the 924 championship for 2016. He just has to keep pedaling at the speed he's doing right now. Welcome back to the Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship from Bransdhatch. It is almost done and dusted for this man, Pip Hammond. He just needs to keep motoring on as he tries to go on the inside of Hugh Pert, who will not be lapped. They go down the back straight now. They go onto the home stretch. Whoa, even Ed Hayes is wobbling. You can see there the 77 twitched a little bit as he went out of Surtees into McLaren, and now he comes up the top of Clearways to come out through Clark Curve in what has been an amazing championship year for Ed Hayes. He won the championship last time out at Rockingham in the third and final race of the weekend, but his 2017 season is coming to an end in fine style as he takes another sweet victory here at the Bransdhatch Indy Circuit. But this man, Pip Hammond, is on course to win the 924 championship. He's just got to keep going. Oh, there's a car up into the wall. Now that looks like Matthew Harris. Matthew Harris, I think the 99 has gone off there. And where is James Coleman, the 0? He's gone as well. I'm not sure what's happened to James Coleman because Adam Southgate has come through in second position. We've lost Coleman. He was right on the back of Ed Hayes at one point. Avery has come across the line for third. Stocker is fourth. Molyneux is fifth. From Lawrence, Porter, then Nick Hull and Gary Goodwin. But this is the man we're watching. The 924 championship is going to be wrapped up in fine style as splishing and splashing his way out of Clark onto the Brabham Straight for the last time this season. Pip Hammond is the 924 champion for 2017, and he knows it. Terrific stuff. There you go. There's the 924 class classification. He beats Waters and Callender to the podium, with Potts in fourth from Rossin, Johnson, Lowry, Matthews, Hupert and Chris Jones from John Jeffrey and Andrew Pritchard. David Jones out of the race in that earlier moment at Paddock Hill Bend, with Philip Waters getting the fastest lap in, a 109.652. In the main race, the Boxsters, Ed Hayes taking the victory from Southgate, Avery, Stocker, Molyneux and Lawrence, as we've said. Porter 7th from Nick Hull, Gary Goodwin and Stephen Fitzpatrick. James Coleman out of the race on the penultimate lap. Angus Archer 2 and Ed Hayes the fastest man. Terrific stuff here at Bransdhatch with 2 races still to go. And in the production class, Andrew Baker was the only finisher, with Matthew Harris out of luck and out of the race this time. But 2 races still left here at the Indy Circuit.
Ed, well done. The 2017 championship was already yours before you came here, but you sealed it like a true champion. But you did have a hard time there, especially after the safety car restart.
Absolutely, yeah. James and I were close in qualifying. I think it was 700ths in the wet, and his dry times are similar as well. So yeah, he never went anywhere. Little bits of gap here and there, but then he came straight back. And the safety car obviously right back.
I saw you try to do a really clever restart, and it kind of backfired on you because he got such a good run.
Yeah, well, I picked the wrong gear. I should have gone a bit quicker and stayed in third and had a sort of that kind of thing. But I had it in second. A little bit of wheel spin when I went to go again, and he just got down the inside of me into Paddock Hill. And he's not been in the full championship this year, so he's coming to win races. So I knew it would be a bit of a banzai man at the end, you know.
Yeah, he was winner or bin it, and unfortunately for him, it ended in the bin. But I had every faith in you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was good fun.
Pep, well done, rounding off the 2017 championship in style with a dominant win.
Thanks. I got a slice of luck there with the safety car trapping everyone a lap down. I looked in the mirrors, there was nobody there, so that was good. But I think I had a good gap to Jamie. I think we could have held on. I think the main thing, I've got to say a really big thank you to Jason Wood, his family and all the team at PDC Racing. We had to rebuild the whole car, like the whole front end of the car after the last round at Rockingham, and quite a big accident there. So really big thank you to everyone for putting the effort in and getting the car here, and it seems to be all right, you know. That was tested today.
Well done on the win, but more importantly, well done on the championship as well.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks.
Race number 2 for the Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship, and perfect conditions compared to race number 1. Ed Hayes, our champion, back on pole position with Adam Southgate alongside him on the front row, and we've got time for a really quick chat with Ed. Ed, yesterday, obviously current champion, so the season's gone well. Yesterday you won, but it wasn't the easiest win for you.
No, it wasn't. No, it was James Coleman with me the whole time, and then on the restart I made a bit of a mistake and he got past. And look at the last lap scrap, and he really went for it and chucked it off, thankfully for me.
Dry conditions could make it a little bit more straightforward for you.
Yeah, there'll be lots of people on the pace now, maybe 5, 6. Sort of semi-hard to pass here sometimes if you're similar in pace. So. And with trademark terrible start, I'm expecting to be behind a few people straight away. So
good luck.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll hand it to Jake for race number 2.
Thanks, Joe. This should be a cracker. Ed Hayes and Adam Southgate on the front row, with Richard Avery and Alex Stocker on the second. Kevin Molyneux and the feisty Gary Lawrence on row 3 from Andrew Porter and Nick Hull. Gary Goodwin, Stephen Fitzpatrick, James Coleman down in 11th. He'll be a fast starter alongside Angus Archer. In the 924s, Hammond, Waters, Callender and Potts are your top 4. Rossin and Johnson alongside Ryan Lowry and Richard Matthews. Hugh Burt and Chris Jones. John Jeffrey, Andrew Pritchard. And watch out for David Jones from the back of the 924 grid. He'll be a fast starter too, with Baker and Harris resuming their battle in the production class. The red lights come on. We're getting ready for action in the dry this time. Go, Banzai! Let's get on it. Cracking start from Nick Hull. Look, he's shooting off the grid as Molyneux gets a little bit of a tough start. We're on board with Hull as he goes alongside Gary Lawrence. Oh, there's a little bit of rubbing there. Avery and Stocker, days of thunder into turn 1. Rubbing's racing, and they do it twice, 3 times. And now Lawrence goes up the inside of Stocker. Hull is trying to repeat the move on Alex Stocker as the leaders go side by side. Southgate trying to run around the outside of Ed Hayes as they come off the turn, up on the grass nearly. Down towards Graham Hill Bend, into Cooper Straight. That is Stocker making the move on Nick Hull to tighten in behind Lawrence. And that's Avery having got past Adam Southgate around the outside of Graham Hill Bend. And look at Lawrence as he comes on the far side as well. Round to the far side, he can't get through, he decides to bail. That was bravery there to try it round the outside, but he decided to come think better of it. Look how much grip there is on the outside now, although not as much as Southgate would like. Stocker has got through on the inside. That's Archer in front of us. We're on board with Gary Goodwin. James Coleman started near us. Where is he now? Oh, there he is. He makes the move on Nick Hull up the inside. Surely that's going to be a clean pass. The 924s are kicking off behind as well. There goes Coleman on the inside of us in the 00. The mean machine is through as he makes the move there. Now, is he going to try and make a move again? Well, Nick Hull's going to try and beat him to the braking zone for Druids. But there's great battles everywhere you look in the 924 field as well as the Boxster field. Down the hill we go, into Graham Hill Bend and onto the Cooper Straight. It's an absolutely sensational battle, and what a big grid it is. Hopefully it'll be this size every time for 2018. Hayes, Avery, Lawrence, Stocker, Southgate, Coleman, Hull, Molyneux. Then it's Porter, and side by side battling the position. That is Gary Goodwin with Angus Archer. Terrific scrapping here as the entirety of the Boxster field storms through. Look at the 924s. That's David Jones having caught up to Philip Waters. Watch out, Philip. Very close battle at the moment. At this rate, he'll be suffering from David Jones' locker at the moment as he tries to sort himself out on the far side. We're on board with Carl Rossin as he comes down the main straight. Pip Hammond a bit further up the road. There goes Waters going past us. Waters is going through on the left-hand side, and there goes David Jones as well. well, I suppose the pressure's up for Pip Hammond. He doesn't have to win anything anymore. He can just go out there and have a play. This is almost a precursor to the pre-dinner karting race that the drivers always do on the morning of the annual awards dinner. I'm hoping to get out there again. I don't think Richard Avery's too keen for me to get out there again. I beat him this year. Here comes Carl Rossin. On the run once again, back to the Boxsters, and there is Southgate trying desperately to defend from Nick Hull and close in on James Coleman. But ahead of all of us, we've still got some pretty feisty racers. Lawrence in front of Stocker, then it's Coleman, Hull and Southgate. Southgate slowing. Southgate's got a problem. He's got no straight line speed at all as David Jones dives up the inside of Waters and Fitzpatrick in the Boxster to move ahead. And that is the 25 trying to come through as well. Oh my goodness, this is an absolutely cracking battle as on the inside of Philip Waters, Stephen Potts is trying to come alongside. We're on board with Pip Hammond, watching it all unfold. Potts is still there to the inside. Waters is going to have to shut that door pretty conclusively. Rossin's in there as well. Here comes Carl Rossin on the inside of Pip Hammond. Pip Hammond couldn't care less. He's having an absolutely fantastic race. This is just play for him now. All the pressure's off. This is all about bragging rights. And he couldn't care less if he wins or loses this one. He's just out there having fun. Off of Druids. Down Hailwood Hill once again and into Graham Hill Bend. He fends off from Carl Rossin. Gavin Johnson is coming in for a pincer movement at the moment. Rossin is the meat in a BDC sandwich, but not for long. He's got good speed. Look at the bonnet flapping in the breeze there. If he's not careful, that thing's going to fly up and into the windscreen. We've seen that happen a few times. Look at Hammond defending back to the inside of Carl Rossin. Don't even think about it. I'm going to open the door and I'm going to let my teammate come through as well. Gavin Johnson going to try and get through on the inside, but Carl Rossin is wise to that one. Now he's got good straight line speed as they come down the Brabham Straight once again. Hammond is disappearing to our left. I think we've got him. Philip Waters a little further up the road. Stephen Potts is trying to tuck in there on the inside. We're on board with Pip Hammond. There goes Rossin and there goes Gavin Johnson. A worthy teammate and almost champion in the 2017 season before Hammond sealed the deal in the last race. But Pip is just having fun out there now. He's just seeing what happens. Meanwhile, that is Adam Southgate. Oh dear, Adam Southgate plagued by unreliability all season long. Ed Hayes would have had a much tougher and much closer challenge had he been on top form all season long, but there's Adam Southgate. His car has stopped on the edge of Surtees. He's trying to get it back to the pits, but the car has literally got no juice left. Now, if they can't move the car, then, well, they have just managed to move it. I was going to say we're in for another safety car, but I think he's done enough to get it enough off the racing line as Kevin Molyneux now laps Pip Hammond. Hammond lets him go. He's obviously in the much faster Porsche Boxster. I tell you what, his nickname, Kevin Molyneux, he really is living up to it these days. Last night in the paddock, again, he was on the Dolly Parton. I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, I mean he was singing along. Pip Hammond up the inside there, trying to make the move on Andrew Pritchard. We're on board with Dolly Molly as he now closes up to lap Philip Waters. Kevin Molyneux underneath the bridge up Hailwood Hill and into Druids. Kevin Molyneux, plenty of grip on the inside line there. As you can see, you've got to time the throttle off the turn beautifully. He does so. He's now going to try and lap a few more, but at the same time, he'll want to try and get a little bit closer to Nick Hull, who's a little bit further up the road than him at the moment. We're going to lap Stephen Potts. Just about enough room down the straight to get the speed up to go past. And now we've got the 11 of Andrew Pritchard. We tuck up the inside. We didn't give Pritchard a lot of room for manoeuvre. But hey, this is a bit like the Le Mans 24 Hours with drivers popping up the inside, leaving the back markers very little room indeed. But Kevin Molyneux still having a great end to the season. And there is Philip Waters still having a cracking battle with Carl Rossin. There's action everywhere you look here at Bransdhatch. Great racing in race 2 of the Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship from the British Racing and Sports Car Club. Amazing battles up the road here in the 924s. Philip Waters trying to fend off from Carl Rossin, the new champion. Pip Hammond is right behind. Pip Hammond, we're on board with him, having clinched the championship in race 1, emulating Linda Warren from last season. Pip Hammond in the PDC Racing, number 71, as he comes through the left and up through the right once again. Through Surtees and McLaren, up towards Clearways. A great little battle further up the road as Carl Rossin again tries to make a move on Phil Waters. Phil Waters shuts the door on the exit there of Clark Curve. They're going to run side by side, I think, at this rate. Carl Rossin's got a good drive out of the final turn. Down the Brabham straight, they're going to get alongside each other. And Rossin can't quite make that move into Paddock Hill Bend. He's not quite in the right position to do so. He comes off the turn, down the drop, and back up Hailwood Hill. Will he make the move up the inside? He's going to have a think about it, but Waters is going to shut the door beautifully. Pip Hammond's going to try and come right round the outside. All the pressure off in the world. He just wants to have a shindig. Come on, boys, let's have a play. And Philip Waters again shuts the door as they go through Graham Hill Bend. Rossin can't get through, and Pip Hammond isn't quite close enough to retaliate. Back through the gears. On the Cooper Straight, up towards Surtees. Waters again having to defend from Carl Rossin. So much travel in the suspension as they go over the bumps there at Surtees. Now trying to come round the outside, Carl Rossin, to get a good drive out of Clark. This might work. Rossin's got good grip on the outside. Waters having to defend to the inside. Now Rossin's going to get him down the straight. Surely they're going to be side by side. Rossin's going to beat him to the line. If that was the finish, he would beat him. But now they're going to have to negotiate Paddock Hill Bend. Pip Hammond's going to try and come up the inside. They've got a car on the far side that they're lapping. So Pip Hammond just looks behind him, makes sure he's got space to move across to the left-hand side. Rossin still battling away there with Phil Waters. Side by side, they almost bang wheels. They do bang wheels. And now Phil Waters tucks out wide. Shuts the door. Pip Hammond left with nearly nowhere to go. But Rossin is through. Now Phil Waters might not be so keen to relive that one, but Pip Hammond is now going to have a go. Phil Waters trying to shut the door, channeling the images of the 4 world champions he's got on his car as over the line goes Nick Hull. When I say he's got 4 images of world champions on his car, just look at Phil Waters' car closely when you've got an opportunity. He's got holiday snaps which include trips to the British Grand Prix, and you'll see the faces of Hamilton, Vettel, Rosberg and even Sir Jackie Stewart on that card. Jamie Callender, we're on board with him now. In the dry, it's a different story, I'm afraid. There goes David Jones past him. And David Jones is looking for, well, is that for the lead now? I think that's for the lead, you know. He's certainly doing an absolutely cracking job. Well, Jamie Callender, I think, was already being lapped by David Jones. Oh, and Phil Waters has shot straight across the circuit. What happened there? He braked, then lost the car altogether as Adam Southgate laps the 99 of Matthew Harris, and Phil Waters gets back on the circuit. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. He was turning through the right-hander. There are bits falling off his car. Look at that. I definitely saw something that was, there was debris from someone else's car, but there was definitely something that came off at the 15. So Adam Southgate has obviously been into the pits and repaired his car, so got going again. Now I thought Southgate was out of the race. He's now 4 laps down. So they've obviously repaired the car. Southgate has obviously paid his money. He wants a bit more testing in, ready to win the 3rd race of the weekend and the final race of the year. There's David Jones, started last in the 924s and is now leading the class. An amazing comeback. So the number 8, David Jones, having an absolutely storming drive here from last place on the grid, and is now leading in the 924 class. You can't really do better than that. He is driving beautifully. And great to see him back in the championship. Hopefully a 2018 campaign is on the horizon, and with a drive like this, it might motivate him to show everybody. Actually, I don't think Pip Hammond will be winning a second 2018 924 Porsche Championship. I will win it in 2018. This is a state of intent from our race leader, David Jones, as he goes across the line. Time running out here. Black and white flag. We're not entirely sure what that's for or who it's for, but somebody is getting a bit of a warning there. We're on board with Pip Hammond as he comes down the straight once again. Still good battles. Now he's looking in his mirror. Who's about to come past him on the inside? Well, we missed it because David Jones is still out there up at Druids as he drops down Hailwood Hill, looking to become another new race winner in the 924 category this season. Pip Hammond, Carl Rossin, Ryan Lowry, Gavin Johnson. Oh, and that's an off for the 10. That is Fitzpatrick. So Stephen Fitzpatrick has gone off there at Clark Curve, and he will have put a lot of debris on the circuit as a result of going off at that point on the course. Now we're watching the Boxsters come through. There's Richard Avery looking really good in 2nd place. Oh, and that's Jamie Callender having spun off. Jamie Callender spun off behind the race leader there as Ed Hayes continues on his way, leading from Richard Avery and Gary Lawrence. Alex Stocker in 4th position. Nick Hull is in 5th place. Kevin Molyneux is 6th. What's happened to James Coleman? James Coleman appears to have had another issue. I certainly can't see him in amongst the top 3, and that's where he should be. We'll have to get some news on that a bit later, I fear. But Ed Hayes, this is very typical of his season. He's had the best package. He's driven through the conditions the best, better than anybody else. And so now Ed Hayes is on the way to his 2nd victory of the weekend. He comes out of the final turn, down the straight, and Ed Hayes makes it 2 wins out of 2. And that's Pip Hammond in the pits. Pip Hammond, look in the pits. He's out of the race. So Pip Hammond is out of it. Avery comes through for 2nd place. Adam Southgate comes through. That will be 4 laps adrift. 3rd position in the box of the race. Look, there comes Gary Lawrence. Gary Lawrence is going to get the job done. Andrew Baker is going to beat Matthew Harris in the production boxes, but here is David Jones from dead last on the 924 grid. He fought his way through, forgot the embarrassment of race 1, and he's charged through to become another new winner in the 924 class in 2017. Hayes, Avery and Lawrence is your podium, from Alex Stocker and Nick Hull, with Kevin Molyneux, Gary Goodwin, Andrew Porter, Angus Archer and Stephen Fitzpatrick rounding up the top 10. Southgate 4 laps down, and James Coleman sadly out of the race. Ed Hayes' fastest lap is a 53.515. That's how fast they're going in the dry. In the production class, it's Andrew Baker who wins by just 0.4 of a second from Matthew Harris in the end. Great to see those two so even at the end of the season. Both of them have made incredible progress, and David Jones beats Ryan Lowry by 1.4 seconds. Stephen Potts is only just 3rd, from Rossin, Johnson, Waters, Pert, Matthews, Jamie Callender, John Jeffrey, Chris Jones and Andrew Pritchard. And for once, Pip Hammond is out of the race. What a surprise at the end of the season. Stephen Potts, your fastest lap.
David, well done. What a drive from the rear of the grid to a race win.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a problem. I spun out down at the bottom of the paddock, and we couldn't see anything at all yesterday. It was just a completely wet race. But yeah, it was just I was just really fired up, and it was just people made room. That was the great thing, and it was really good, fair stuff. Brilliant. I haven't had so much fun for ages.
Well done.
Thank you very much indeed.
The final race of the 2017 Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship is about to begin under pretty much perfect conditions here at Bransdhatch, and it's the reverse grid which puts Adam Southgate on pole position after the bad luck that he had in the first race. I'm going to hand it to Jake, and he'll take us through all the action of the final race of the year.
So surely with Southgate on pole position for the last race of the year, it should be plain sailing, shouldn't it? Well, Fitzpatrick is alongside him on the front row, Archer and Porter on the second row, from Gary Goodwin, Kevin Molyneux, Nick Hull and Alex Stocker, Gary Lawrence and Richard Avery, Ed Hayes and James Coleman alongside each other at the back. Andrew Pritchard and Chris Jones take the residence at the front of the 924 grid from John Jeffrey and Jamie Callender. Then it's Matthews, Pert, Waters, Johnson, Rossin, Potts, Ryan Lowry, David Jones and Pip Hammond, who starts right at the back. Matthew Harris and Andrew Baker on the production box to grid. It's topsy-turvy, it's the last race of the year, and there's nothing to fight for except bragging rights. Let's get racing! Cracking start from several drivers from the back. Avery trying to cut through, Hull as well. Molyneux trying to get on the inside of Fitzpatrick. Oh, there's barely any room for the 46 to come by. But that is what Gary Goodwin's trying to do. Avery has gone up to about 3rd position off the start. Look at him, absolutely storming through to 2nd position up the inside of Angus Archer. He's got there. Absolutely sensational start from Richard Avery. Wowee, this is incredible stuff as Ed Hayes struggles to deal with Gary Lawrence. He goes up the inside, takes him on, tries to make the same move on the 46 of Gary Goodwin at the same time, and I think he's got him on the exit. Meanwhile, back on board with Pip Hammond. Now we switch to Jamie Callender as we dive up the inside there. I think that was Richard Matthews who just made the move on the inside of there. And the 924s storm towards us. Leading the way for the moment is the 11 of Pritchard, trying to hang on from the 36 of Hugh Pert. Gavin Johnson trying to come through, David Jones tucking in there. It's absolute skittles as they come through out of the turn. The 33 in there as well. All battling away for position. That's Chris Jones. Pip Hammond now down the straight as he goes side by side with Richard Matthews to our left. Pip Hammond's got great speed as he takes on Jamie Callender. Callender looks like he's got a problem. Ed Hayes is trying to make a move or two up the inside. He gets on the inside of Molyneux and Porter. He gets past them both as they go through Druids. Lawrence now gets the move on Porter. Molyneux's going to try and get through on the inside. Well, Lawrence has had to back out of it, and Molyneux's going to pick up the pieces on the inside. Lawrence is going to try and squeeze him out. He's done it. So Lawrence defends and now tucks for the inside of Porter, and here comes Nick Hull to the right side of us. Southgate still battling with Avery for the lead. Southgate runs very deep indeed, and Avery's going to get alongside him surely. out of Clark, out of clearways, and here we go. Richard Avery's going to take the lead. Is he finally going to get the victory he's been searching for all season long in 2017? Runner-up last year. He's had all sorts of problems this year. He's had several opportunities to take the victory, all for them to fall flat in his face at the last moment. But now in the last race of the year, he might get that chance. Southgate trying to get him back again, but I think there's still problems with Southgate's car. It's not handling the same fluidity that he has shown the rest of the year, so I wonder if he's still nursing some problems. But out in front, it's Richard Avery. Adam Southgate in second position. Third place, I'm trying to look back, is that Gary Lawrence? Trying to look back and see who it is. No, too far back for the moment. I'll pick it up in a moment. But Avery is your leader. Southgate in second place. We look back, and I think that's Ed Hayes, actually. I think Hayes has already come up into third position. Yep, that's Hayes. It's very easy to spot him. Kevin Molyneux trying to get up the inside now of the 133. Andrew Porter has got Kevin Molyneux breathing down his neck. Nick Hull is right in behind him as well, as Molyneux and Hull try to take on 133 squadron. Andrew Porter. The last race of the 2017 Toyo Tires Porsche Championship is still well underway, and we've still got great battles. This is Porter, Molyneux, and behind him Nick Hull, as they battle away through Graham Hill Bend, up the Cooper Straight. Trying to get towards Surtees, looking for a way through. Nick Hull swarms around behind Dolly Molly, trying to find a way to get past. But Kevin Molyneux is absolutely resolute. You're not coming through. Up towards McLaren. In through clearways, trying to get a run on the 133. Andrew Porter still holding station at the front of this little queue. We're on board with Kevin Molyneux. Now we're lapping traffic by the look of it. That's one of the slower 924s up the road. So that's going to start coming into play if they time it right. We've got two cars in front of us. That is Angus Archer and I think Gary Lawrence to deal with. And then in front of them, we've got slower traffic. That is the move. Is it on the inside? Molyneux! He braves it. He goes out wide, and I'm not sure if he completed the move or not. Carl Rossin battling away down the main straight as he has got past the 25 of Stephen Potts for the moment. Gavin Johnson is ahead of him. Pip Hammond is not in as high a position as we're used to seeing him, but he couldn't care less. Again, he's just having fun, playing around on the Bransdhatch Indy circuit, and why wouldn't you? Into the hairpin. Out of Druids, he's closing up on Stephen Potts with Rossin in front of him, with Gavin Johnson in front of both of them. Pip Hammond watching on, trying to make a move. So we'll see how things play out for these guys. But at the moment, it still looks as though things are very close and even in the 924 class. David Jones is up the road in front of us. So he's made an absolute flyer of a start from the back once again. You can't knock a good racing driver. Jones, Johnson, Rossin, Potts and Hammond. That's the battle at the moment. Now we're back on board with Adam Southgate. That is Richard Avery up the road, and we got a spin. Now that is Gary Goodwin. Gary Goodwin has gone off there as Ed Hayes tries to make a move on Adam Southgate. He uses John Jeffrey as a bit of a battering ram nearly. Certainly uses him to get through on the inside. Oh, and Richard Avery's been held up. That's the 47 Richard Matthews holding Richard Avery up. Southgate's got a chance, but Hayes has got past both of them. Hayes is now all over the back of Richard Avery. Into Surtees. Can he make the move on the way up through McLaren? He's not quite close enough, but he's certainly swarming all over the back of Richard Avery. He's going to try and go round the outside, then tuck in for the undercut. Southgate's there as well. Yellow flags are waving though. Looks as though we've got an issue somewhere, and Avery's not dropped back. Southgate's gone through. We've got safety car. Now they didn't see it. That's why we had positions changed there. So Avery's got to go back to the lead. Hayes has got to go back to second. Southgate drops back into third. Wow. Goodness me, that was close. Now we've got somebody off there in the pit lane. I think that is Jamie Callender. That is a real shame if that's the case. He ends his season pretty much as he began it. We've lost James Coleman from this race. We've lost Jamie Callender from this race. And that is Gary Goodwin having spun. Now he hasn't got the car going again. So he's obviously stalled it. I wonder if he's going to be able to get it going again, or if that's him game over. But that would be a very sour end to his race, to be fair. So now we have to figure out what is going to happen. Well, we're under safety car conditions. That's Gary Lawrence about to lap David Jones when they restart the race. Not sure how long the safety car is going to be out. The difficulty, of course, is going to be moving Gary Goodwin's car from a vulnerable position. But Richard Avery, his chances of winning his last race of the year, and his first race of the year it would be, of course, has now gone terribly, terribly pear-shaped because he's got Ed Hayes right underneath him. He's going to have to defend like mad when the race restarts. So this is not going to be easy for him. There's Gary Lawrence, ending his season with all sorts of action and some good battles around the circuit. Now, they're going to come back onto the main straight. Let's pick them up. Avery leading, Hayes second, then it's Southgate. Next in the queue are Pritchard, Jeffries and Jones. Then it's Lawrence, Potts and Rossin. Hammond is in there as well somewhere. So we've still got most of the main protagonists. Looking back towards the back of the Boxsters, that is Molyneux in there with Hull, Porter. We look a bit further back to find, I think that's Archer. And who's got the door open at the very back of the field? Is that Hugh Pert? Shut that door! There we go, he's done it. Well, I wouldn't recommend that. I've seen that on the formation lap before, but certainly not under safety car conditions. Hugh Pert, obviously needing some air. It's October, for goodness sake. Oh dear. Well, it's fun and games at the end of the season, but I think we're about to go racing again. What has been an absolutely incredible season, full of action, non-stop drama. It's been an amazing year. I hope you've loved every second of it the same way I have. The racing has been amazing since the word go, and we're going to end under a grey cloud, hopefully no rain, but the safety car lights are going out, so we're going to have a sprint dash to the finish. Who's going to win? Avery, Hayes, Southgate for the last time in 2017. Let's go, and Avery's got a good start. He's got a good restart as they go down the straight. He's obviously caught Hayes early. And now the race is on for the final victory of 2017. Avery, Hayes, Southgate. Here comes Gary Lawrence in fourth position, lapping 924s like crazy. He wants to try and get himself back in a good position. Here's Pip Hammond. Oh, there goes Dolly Molly. Dives up the inside of about 3 924s as the leaders make their way out of Druids. So down the hill, Avery, Hayes and Southgate still battling away for that victory. But Hayes is your leader at the moment. Oh, sorry, Avery is your leader at the moment. Hayes is threatening to be the leader as they go into Surtees, up towards McLaren. Southgate is a bit close to Ed Hayes. He doesn't want to try anything silly. Southgate's really going for it, goes very deep into the braking zone, goes out a little bit wider. If he gets a good acceleration out of the turn, he might be able to get a run on Ed Hayes. He's certainly giving it a go. Down the Brabham straight. Up towards Paddock Hill Bend, the last time in 2017. I think I see the marshal there, standing by with the last lap board. We're not far away from the victory. This has got to be the penultimate lap if that's the case. Southgate watches on, looking for an opportunity. Avery hanging on in front of Ed Hayes, into Druids. Southgate tries to go very deep indeed to come back, and I think that's cost him his chance of victory. I think he's too far back now. Unless these two start to really squabble, Southgate is not going to get himself a place on the podium. Well, he's going to get himself a third place, actually, but he's not going to get himself on the top spot. So it's now down to Richard Avery and Ed Hayes. Hayes will want to win a hat-trick once again. He's had a couple of them this year. He will love to end his championship winning campaign with 3 victories out of 3. Southgate's still struggling for grip. There's definitely handling issues with that car. And as they come down the straight into Paddock Hill Bend, they will go. And I think it is the last lap board next time by, actually. So, oh, there goes Hayes up the inside. He's going to make a late lunge to Avery, and he's through. Avery has no response. Do you know what? I'm not sure Avery was prepared for that one. Hayes just stormed it up the inside, barely any room to negotiate at all, and Hayes is through. My word, that is how good a racing driver he is. Oh, and a spin into the gravel trap. Now that looks to me like Andrew Porter has got off there at Paddock Hill Bend. Well, that's a big one. So whether he can get it going again or not is not really determined at the moment. But this man is going to come through and get the victory if he can hold on to it. The checkered flag is going to fly very soon indeed for Ed Hayes in front of Richard Avery and Adam Southgate. And incredibly, the closest fight so far this year is going to come to an end into the last lap. Here we go. Yellow flags, they can't overtake a turn 1, and that is because we've got the Porsche off to the far side there. That is Andrew Porter, and Avery's going to try. He's going to try again. Goes round the outside. Southgate's getting closer as a result. This is going to be the last three-way scrap of the season, in the last lap of the season. Will it be Hayes yet again? Will it be Avery for the first time? Or will Southgate get some recompense? Up towards 30s for the last time, through the left, through the right, and I don't think Avery's close enough. Hayes is going to hang on to this one. He's going to make it the hat-trick. Avery's going to give it every gusto he can, but he hasn't quite got the line. He's got the grip, but it's going to be a victory for Ed Hayes. He won race 1, he won race 2, he won the third race now. Brilliant, job done. Hayes has made it 3 out of 3 this weekend in his 2017 championship winning season. Gary Lawrence comes through for 4th position. He will finish ahead of Kevin Molyneux and Nick Hull, who are still battling to the flag, but Molyneux will get there just first in front of Nick Hull. Archer 7th from Fitzpatrick. And then we have the leading 924 battle, and it's going to be David Jones just in front of Carl Rossin. Potts is there in 3rd because of a penalty, I believe. So there it finishes. Ed Hayes from Richard Avery and Adam Southgate. Less than a second between them as they came across the line. Gary Lawrence, Kevin Molyneux and Nick Hull from Archer, Fitzpatrick. And then the retirements, Porter, Goodwin and Coleman. Ed Hayes still the fastest man, and he cleans up with a hat-trick in his final weekend of the 2017 season. David Jones takes the win in the end from Carl Rossin and Stephen Potts, with Pip Hammond, Gavin Johnson, Ryan Lowry, Chris Jones, Hugh Pert, Richard Matthews and John Jeffrey in tow. Andrew Pritchard the only other finisher, with Jamie Callender out of the race. Carl Rossin setting the fastest lap with a 57.840. And in the final production race of the season, it goes to Andrew Baker, half a second in front of Matthew Harris. What a great end to an absolutely sensational season, and I've loved every single second of it.
Ed, champion, 2 wins, doesn't get much better than that, does it? But you left it late.
Yeah, those two were going quick, and it took ages to get to them. And when I did, it was still looking pretty static, the 3 of us. And then back marker kind of helped me out past Adam. And then behind Rich, I just thought I'd have a bit of a go down there. I don't think I've tried it there before today, but it's quite good. Just sort of appear down the inside and hope for the best.
Taken by surprise. Well done on the championship, and more importantly, well done on your 2 wins.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Richard, well done. What a drive. 10th on the grid to 2nd. It could have been a win with a little longer.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, all that hard work, and I thought, almost writing my speech ready for the end of it, and then obviously the safety car come out, backed us all up a little bit, and then it obviously come past me at paddock, just caught me asleep, and that was it. And then I think it was the last lap, when he come past, but I've had good battles with these guys all year, and it's a good day's race.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for from the Porsches for 2017, but what great action we've seen all year long. Congratulations again to Ed Hayes and also to Pip Hammond on his championship. Make sure you tune in 2018 for more high-speed action.